What's going on, folks, and welcome to a victorious edition on Thursday Night Football of the Jake and Joe Bengals Postgame Show presented by First Star Logistics. And I've got one question for you watching this show. How can you not be romantic about Joe Flacco? What a game. Stone cold Joe Flacco. I'm here for the Flacco science. I'm trying to make something here stick as we get some sort of saying around Joe Flacco and that performance tonight. I'm Jake, let's go. He's Joe Goodberry. We are your Jake and Joe post-game show here presented by First Star Logistics, our fantastic partner who is hiring. If you're looking for work, Joe and I love getting together every game day, every week to preview the show, talk about the biggest stories going on with the Bengals. It's not just a preview show. We're also talking about the biggest stories going on with the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you're looking for work, you want to team up with First Star Logistics like Joe and I have, check it out at firststarlogistics.com for all the job postings and one of the fastest growing and best companies to work for in the Cincinnati area. And we're giving away a custom jersey here tonight. So if you want a whiteout, I'm wearing my white. Joe didn't get the memo for the whiteout at Paycor. You can get a whiteout jersey. Check out the First Star Logistics Twitter page at First Star Log to make sure you're staying up to date on all of our giveaways. We'll also have one to give away in the chat. If you enter, just do it once. Don't spam the chat. One time. Hashtag First Star Logistics in the chat. You'll have a chance to win. An incredible game. Objectively an incredible game. Unless you like defense, I guess. But we had emo Joe Burrow back in the stadium. We have Joe Flacco playing the best game he's played in I don't know how long. Was awesome throughout the game. We have Jamar Chase. Career game in some ways. Obviously, he's had some more impressive games, I think, when you look at yards and touchdowns and stuff, but incredible game for Jamar Chase considering the way this game played out. Incredible awareness from T. Higgins. Explosive runs. What are we talking about?
Runs.
We're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals here? Are you sure? What a game, Joe.
Yeah. Hope is back. The Bengals are back. We've got reason to watch again is my big takeaway here because, man, I wasn't feeling it going into the game. As the day was approaching and the game was approaching, I'm like, Trey's not playing. The defense is going to stink. I watched the defensive tape yesterday, right? And I was just feeling so down about that side of the ball. And not that I was feeling good about DJ Turner, Dax Hill. That's about it. And I don't know if Dax was targeted one time. DJ Turner ended up 2 more pass breakups, 1 crazy interception. So, we could talk about the defense there and Jordan Battle from a far side hash interception where Turner had great coverage again. But the offense, if the offense plays like this, you will have a shot. Joe Flacco, 10 days in, both receivers. This is why you make the trade. Number one, I mean, we said it when it happened. You do it because the offense needs to be on time because you need so many of these plays to get off without a hitch. Oh, you got the DJ Turner play. We should start with that. Maybe. And there's 25 things to talk about. We're going to miss things. No doubt about it. This is going to be one of the best plays out of a game with the Unk Bowl is one of the best games of the year.
This play, you could argue, there are many plays that won them the game, but this is one of the plays that you could argue won them the game. Instead of the Steelers going down and scoring points, the Bengals steal 3 points before halftime and manage to hang on to that 10-point lead for a lot of the second half until we've seen this movie before. The Bengals are kicking the ball back with only a 6-point lead. Of course, they're going to give up a touchdown to Aaron Rodgers in that moment. But this time, instead of the way that this has gone many times in Bengals history, even with Joe Burrow, maybe not as much lately with Joe Burrow, but even at times in recent years, the Steelers win this game, but not the case this time. But yeah, this is one of the plays that wins in the game, right? And when you talked about the DJ Turner play, had to pull it up because this is bananas.
Crazy.
This is not a good matchup for DJ Turner from a strength size perspective. Mm-hmm. We saw him get beat deep earlier in the game by DK Metcalf, and it was like, okay, I guess DJ Turner, the ride's over. We had a nice couple of weeks, but then, I mean, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous play from DJ Turner. Like when I saw this live, I was like, there's no way to say this.
Did you know what happened live?
My initial response was like, there's no way this is a catch. That was all I thought at first. Because you see the ball is like clearly moving as he's going out of bounds. But DJ Turner has the ball right now.
I know.
This is crazy.
And he gets a knee down.
And then he gets a knee down.
And then holds onto the ball as he hits the ground with it.
Yeah, I was concerned that the ball came out when he hit the ground.
Yeah.
But one
I
of
thought he
bananas
right
plays.
away. So live, as soon as it happened, I jumped up and said, "No, Turner got that. Turner got that." And I'm with my brother watching. The kids are like, "What are
Yeah.
you talking about?" I'm like, "He scooped that thing from him," because I could just see the contact that it made. And when DK hits the ground, his hands are empty, and I'm like,
Empty, right. There's no way that's a catch, right? That was all I responded at first. It's like, there's no way that's a catch for the
right,
receiver on that play.
exactly. It's such a crazy play.
What an awesome play from DJ Turner. And there's so many plays. We're not going to get to look at all of them. I have the Jordan Battle pick as well. That's just a terrible ball from Rodgers. We can certainly give the Jordan Battle pick.
You
I think
said
I said
battle.
that. Okay. Uh, just a terrible ball from Rodgers, like a Jake Browning level throw inside, floats. DJ Turner has a chance for what could have been a 2-pick game for him.
Yeah.
He also had an insane pass breakup where he comes
Not
off
even his
his
man.
guy in zone and finds where the pass is going, and that got the Bengals the ball back, right? That was one their like only stop of the second half. That wasn't. Did they have?
They
No,
had
there were
that
no
stop
takeaways in the second
late.
half.
They did have that one right when
They
the
did
Steelers punted and the Bengals had
the
a
most
chance to ice the
cowardly punt
game.
of the game. That probably you could argue lost Mike Tomlin the football game. Is losing that time, losing that drive. You could argue.
You could argue. They ended up scoring, and the next time they get possession, they did get a stop. We did get a Ryan Finley-esque quarterback option play with Flacco. I thought the Bengals were going to ice it. At that point, I was like, man, they are on a heater today. Zach is dealing. He's pulling that out. He is dealing. And it ended up not happening. But still, the offense as a whole was humming. And the routine stuff, there were so many run options that Flacco just pulled out and hit slants to Jamar Chase. That's like, we talk about Joe Burrow level, PhD level offense stuff. And Flacco's in here in day 10 running it where you really wouldn't know other than maybe the athletic plays not being there. And I thought Flacco did a good job navigating the pocket for the most part. I was so impressed with so many levels of this offense as a whole. We got a Noah Fant big play down the sideline. We got a touchdown on almost like a rub route where Flacco had to go, okay, first window's not there. Second window after the linebacker went up and safety went up, hit Noah Fant on that. And then to the run game, the explosiveness, the offensive line, Dalton Reisner, for the most part, 99% of the time, Amarius Mims looked great against TJ Watt. Yeah, that's it. The two windows where Browning wasn't hitting these and Flacco to go, okay, it's not there. I know I can go to the next one and be able to hit it. It's great.
That's exactly what we said. The primary difference could be with Joe Flacco is if he's able to stand in there, stay on his platform, get rid of the ball. His understanding of what defenses are doing to him is about 20 years more advanced than
it should be.
than Jake Browning. He's only 10 years older, I think, than Jake Browning. Jake Browning's a little bit older. Maybe he's like 12 years older, but Flacco has seen this stuff. He's played high-level football before. Is Joe Flacco elite? How many Joe Flacco jokes can we get off in this episode? He was awesome throughout this game. In terms
He's going to
of
win Air Player of the week, right?
Maybe he had a
342, 3 touchdowns on national television
on 40 plus passes.
Yeah,
big spot, doing things that nobody expect. Like going into this game, the narratives around national analysts, analytics crowd, film crowd, shouty show crowd was like, Bengals have no shot. They can't protect old man Joe Flacco from a pass rush that goes 4 deep on the edge and 4 deep inside.
We
They
warned
have no
about
shot. We talked about the waves of bodies that the Steelers were going to send to Joe Flacco. And Joe Flacco was getting the ball extremely quickly, to be fair. But the offensive line, for the most part, held up. Cam Hayward had a couple plays in a row there at the end that helped the Steelers get the ball back, take a lead late in the game. Pretty impressed with the offensive line overall in this game. Jalen Rivers gets called for a holding penalty that kills a drive for the Bengals in
almost
the red zone,
unavoidable for him, though.
which is
they snapped it with 1 second left, and that's why.
Yeah. I was going to get to the reasons, but yep,
right.
you nailed it. There's a couple things actually that you didn't mention that I wanted to touch on here as well. They go to that second down run a lot in this game. They did a couple times, and I like this, and we saw it on their final drive on the first down. They motioned the running back out, where I think they're like, yeah, the Steelers are probably anticipating run here, and then they motion the running back out like right before the snap. That manufactures a in some way, shape, or form, a really good one-on-one opportunity for Jamar Chase on the sideline with a Pittsburgh backup corner. I thought they could have called DPI on that play in the first
Agreed.
quarter.
Agreed.
There
Because
was a
Jamar
lot of
had to break
contact.
his arm off of him, right?
And Jamar's trying to catch it with one hand because he's being interfered with, almost makes the catch anyway. But they did have that wrinkle off of some of the run looks, some of the gun run looks. Nate Tice also pointed this out, and I like Nate Tice observation powers. The Bengals go under center quick game, not play action, just straight up under center quick game. That's something that you maybe can do with Flacco that
They had
Joe
an under
Burrow
center
wouldn't do as
touchdown.
much.
Under center touchdown to T. Higgins where there's no play action. When is the last time we've had an under center pass touchdown? And T, how springy did he look on that
Was
route
slant.
when he cut it upfield? Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. That's the one that Nate Tice was talking about. There's a couple Higgins plays. I'm seeing if I can find the touchdown real quick.
I want to bring something up too. I was watching Prime Vision. I don't know if you were, because I had both TVs set up. So Prime Vision was great for seeing how the defense was reacting to the Bengals and what they were doing. And every time the Steelers thought it'd be a run, they were holding that safety and then screaming them up at the line. Whenever they would bring Sample in motion or bring a tight end in motion, like they were like, Mike Sands has talked about this so much, they'd scream that safety up like, okay, they're going to run it this way. Or when Flacco would go and kill, they'd pull the safety out of there. So then that was like 2 drives in, and then the Bengals started doing the opposite of what the Steelers thought they had to tell on the Bengals, and then the offense just was on fire after that. And I won't be surprised if I go back and watch film if there was a lot of these were run pass options where they were just almost toying with the Steelers defense and what they thought they believed about the Bengals offense. I'm really excited to go back and see that.
Yeah, the offensive tape's going to be fun this week. Joe Flacco threw 47 passes. Joe Flacco threw 47 passes. That's crazy. The Steelers actually ran way fewer plays than the Bengals this week, just as a side note before we get to this play. Rodgers threw 34 passes. The Bengals had 23 carries. The Steelers had 20 carries. So the Bengals out-snapping the Steelers in this game pretty significantly, which they're +2 in the turnover column and 1 by 2 on a last-second field goal, which tells you something about the overall state of this defense and the strides that are left to be taken on that side of the ball. And we'll probably get there at some point. They made the plays early in this game to give the Bengals a shot to get back in it, though. So you credit them for those takeaways. And let's look at this play. Let's see if we get this. We can't actually get to the start of this play, but this play starts under center. Maybe I have the Nate Tice play. Maybe I don't. But this play starts under center, and it's just hit your back foot. It's probably a 3-step drop, judging from his depth there. And yeah, window throw between these 2 linebackers. You're getting T. Higgins in space between 4 guys. We've seen Jake Browning make this throw in his life, but not this year.
Not with consistency. Flacco's throwing this.
I guess
he's hit it a couple times.
Is this more glance than straight slant? I guess it doesn't really matter. But T sticks his foot in the ground, and you get that acceleration. Fun play from T. Higgins. And somebody asked in the chat, I did see your question, how many yards did T. Higgins end with? T was targeted 10 times in this game for 6 catches and 96 yards, including 1 touchdown and 1 could have been touchdown. He slides down smartly. Brilliant play. And that's an awesome play that we're going to look at as well here. Jamar Chase, 23 targets.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking at least 20 because I know he had like 4 bobbles, drops, weird calls, because I don't think that one was a drop at all that they challenged. And he still
wasn't a challenge, but yeah.
Well, yeah, not challenged. Official review, correct.
Yeah.
Still ends up with 16 catches. What was it, 166 yards? Crazy. I'm just
16 catches, 161 and a touchdown for Jamar. Many broken tackles. You want to hear a crazy stat, Joe? At least the last time.
I do want to hear a crazy stat, yes.
The Steelers missed more tackles than the Bengals in this game.
Wow. I would not have, and the way it started for the Bengals defense, I thought they were struggling with Warren. A lot of missed tackles early. I wouldn't have guessed that at all.
No, the Bengals had a terrible day tackling. Demetrius Knight, I think, missed 4. Demetrius wasn't all bad. There was some good for him on tape too, but that I think will show up on tape, I should say.
Could you hear him on the TV, on the broadcast? He was calling out the motions before they were happening, and he was alerting the other guy because he's been playing so much edge that, hey, on your side, the motion's coming over. You're going to have to set the edge.
I did notice one thing that they have to get straightened out, which is him and Barrett Carter communicating to defensive linemen the same thing. Like they're both trying to communicate the same thing.
Yes.
You don't need both those guys doing that. Somebody needs to be the quarterback of the defense. And
At one point, they both moved up and like tapped the guy to get him to
yeah,
move. And I'm like, you
yeah,
got to get back there quicker.
yeah. One of you guys needs to do this. Let's look at the T. Higgins play that essentially wins the game here,
Okay.
because this is fun. I mean, this is against Jalen Ramsey, Super Bowl flashbacks in some senses here for Jalen Ramsey, the way T. Higgins undressed him on that go ball in the Super Bowl. In the good way, Super Bowl flashbacks here. Not necessarily the bad way that Al Michaels exposed us to at halftime or after halftime or whenever that was. Al Michaels spitting in the face of all the Bengals fans watching the broadcast. But you get a press look from Jalen Ramsey on T. Higgins here, and it's just an awesome night, awesome route, awesome throw. Everything about this is just perfect ball from Joe Flacco and T. Higgins. And I can't believe how positive I am in the year 2025 about Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco is suddenly like one of my favorite players ever. That's probably victim of the moment, but man, what an awesome first impression he's made.
I mean, if you listed all the players that started less than 2 or less games for the Bengals, Joe Flacco is very high on that list. And yet, and the Prime Vision showed this too, the defense all shaded towards Jamar. At this point, he's already caught 16 balls. Like, they're going that way, and Jamar could have been open too. What are the Steelers doing? They had some breakdowns at the end of the game that were almost inexcusable for them. But look at everyone picking up the blitz too, because they're sending extra guys. And it's just all around good pickup here, good performance.
You can kind of see this whole route on the TV angle here, which is rare, which is nice. So you can see the release from T off the line, knocks the hands down, gets outside right away. And here, if you're even, he's leaving, and he's leaving. They're even, and T, as Jalen Ramsey turns his head to try to find the ball, loses all of his movement, and T runs under it.
I'm laughing at some of the chat here. Does everybody hate Jalen Ramsey the way the chat does? The way I was amped. Like I had the face of I was like, like you've never covered Jamar Chase in your life, Jalen Ramsey. I was feeling it.
This is the best. I had this take in the game too. For those of you that follow me closely on Twitter, you saw this one. But this is the best the Steelers have felt about their corners in how many years? And they have like 5 DPIs and just were absolutely hopeless against T and Jamar in this game. But this is what we talked about with Joe Flacco, right, man? Like, we talked about the lack of production historically with Jamar Chase and Jake Browning. In this game, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins combined for 33 targets. Aaron Rodgers throws 34 passes in the entire game. You get 33 targets for your 2 stud receivers. And maybe that starts to even out a little bit toward T as Joe Flacco gets a little bit more comfortable there, because T's still really good too, right? We just haven't seen a bunch of them. That's why you go get Joe Flacco for the cool. They're calling him Joe Calm now, I think
Nice.
is the
we got Joe Cool and Joe Calm. That could stick.
Because the pocket movements from Flacco and the ability to read out an offense, get the ball out on time, have made this offensive line look so much better. His time to throw at some point in this game might have been below 2 seconds on some of the clean dropbacks in this game.
There were a lot of plays in this game where he was keeping his eyes and head up. And then if anything, when he was getting pressured, he was almost straightening up even higher to see where he needed to go. And as the pressure was coming, because as they go and show the replay, I'm like, oh, clean pocket again, good throw, Joe Flacco. And then they show the replay, and I'm like, oh, Watt was actually within an arm's length of Flacco, but it didn't matter because he just flipped it out of there and just at the right time. And it was very impressive, because that was one thing when I did the Jake Browning breakdowns on film, as I was like, his movement in the pocket is it's so elongated, it's over exaggerated. He can't do anything. He can't remain a passer because he's taking these so wild steps in the pocket that he's getting himself in trouble, and then he makes his offensive line look worse. Interesting all around on the offensive line though, because they start Rivers at right guard. Game starts with a sack right away with him too, and I'm like, this is what we saw last week. That's a thank you, Cleveland, after the game. Awesome. And then Rivers was kind of solid after that. I tried to watch him and focus on him, and I thought, all right, this is going to be a better film review than it was the previous week. And then Reisner got the start over Fairchild at left guard. And I couldn't help but watch. And again, the mics kept picking it up. Reisner and Karras talking a lot. Reisner's the one looking back this time instead of Rivers to give the snap to Karras. And at one point, you're like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're right. We got this. Yeah. And he talks to Karras and then they hit the snap and they picked it up perfectly. And I'm like, that's why you want the veteran next to Karras, because it's the communication. You got to pick these things up. And they've struggled with stunts and stuff this year.
I think Reisner is probably sticking with the job after this game for at least a bit. And we'll see how Rivers shows up on tape. Tough task. I mean, Cam Hayward did get Reisner a couple times, although one of those was Karras. The sack was Karras, as they were a little bit confused. Jalen Rivers, the sack that Rivers gave up earlier in the game was kind of a processing sack. Like he goes to help, but the guy drops, and so he's late getting to the guy that he gives up the sack.
They also had an unblocked on Hayward up the middle where he tried to just flip it out to Chase Brown in the flats. I don't know if you remember that. So I'm gonna have to see what that was and see who ended up on. Maybe I think they sent an extra guy, so maybe that was the unblocked defender. But we're rare to let the inside guy be the unblocked guy. Yeah,
somebody probably messed up there. So it wasn't perfect from the offensive line, but it certainly looked significantly more functional than we've seen it for a while. Like some of that is Flacco being way better in the pocket than I thought he would be at this stage in his career. But the small movements, the veteran savvy, he's making it work. I like this one from chatter Ren Burke. The post-game show on Prime, Flacco said he was laughing, talking to a family member about how ridiculously good T and Jamar are. And like, this is another thing that I said when they acquired Flacco. He hasn't thrown to anybody this good, a wide receiver. Anquan Bolden's probably the best receiver he ever
threw. Steve Smith too, right?
Did he have some Steve Smith years? He probably did.
Because I remember Steve Smith, AJ Green back and forth Ravens game.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is old.
He's played.
I'm old, but Joe Flacco,
he's our age. He's older than us, actually.
Joe Flacco is football old, man. You're right, but what a duo for
together,
Joe Flacco,
right?
To throw to. I love this moment too, and then we'll maybe talk about the defense a little bit here. We talked about DJ Turner. I don't know how negative we want to be about the defense, but this is one of my favorite moments in the entire game. This isn't even a successful play. This is just enjoyable.
Oh, the facial reaction. He can do that. He drops passes.
And I actually thought
this is what I thought he was going to get the next window. Did you see the play? Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, Jamar thought he was going to get the next one, and then it kind of caught off guard.
I was too distracted by the face that Joe Flacco was making to pay attention to anything else. I'm gonna be real with you.
I also enjoyed Joe Flacco, Jake Browning, and Joe Burrow scrunched at the very end of the bench. They were not even shoulder to shoulder. They were like overlapping each other. I'm like, what are these? The three best friends already?
The three best friends that anyone. What's the song? Anyway, yes. Nice to see Joe Burrow out there. Speaking of Joe Burrow. Looking emo before the game, looking like a normal dude with a hat on as the game went on.
I was concerned on that first video. That thing's got over 1 million views that I posted. And he is like, his face looks angry. He looks depressed. He looks very emo. I'm just like, oh, he's going through it right now. And then you see him later. I'm like, okay, he's all right.
He probably was pretty pissed, to be honest. I mean, he's out there watching guys warm up. He can't play in the game. He's still in the boot. He's probably in the boot for another week or two. But it was nice to see him out there. And now that they're at home for the next couple of weeks, we'll probably continue to see him out there. So that's just a nice.
That's why the offense was so good. You know it. I know it. Don't hide from it, Jake. We know Joe Burrow was calling the plays.
Burrow was calling the plays.
Yeah.
And we need to get Burrow calling the defensive plays because what do you think about the zero blitz against Aaron Rodgers on 3rd and 7, maybe it was a third down in the red zone. Third down in the red zone, they go zero. I think Rodgers throws a touchdown. They called a zero blitz against Aaron Rodgers as a point on a third down that was very telegraphed, and I did not like that call.
I must have wiped it from my memory. The big plays I'm thinking of on defense were the cover 2 on 3rd and 18.
Yeah, Geno Stone covering the sideline.
Yeah, because he kind of has to until he realizes, okay, because the idea for that tight end, and I started talking about this on Twitter, is to bow this thing out to almost look like he's going to go to the boundary. So Stone widens out, and then you get past the second level and you break it in. And the Bengals aren't playing a Tampa 2. It looks like a traditional 2, or else the middle linebacker would probably be covering that more, and Stone would have more freedom to go to the outside. I think Dak's in that situation should probably carry it deeper and
You
make
talking
that
about
throw a
the
little
first
bit
one?
harder. Yeah, the first one.
The first
And
one,
then
I need to see again because I wasn't sure if the flat was to his side because the flat would be the only thing that holds him. Because he's a curl flat defender, I think,
and I don't think anything was in front of him, if
a
I
curl
remember
slant
correctly.
defender, and I don't think there was either. He probably needs to get more depth on that one. The other one, though, I
The
have the dots.
68-yarder.
We can look at the dots. That's all I have for that one.
Okay.
That's helpful because I didn't get a replay of it this good, but we can look at the dots here.
My head was in my hands afterwards, so I didn't get a good replay of that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, where are you going? Where are you going, Geno Stone? Like, why are we so wide? And it's four verts again. This is the same exact play call. It's four verts again.
Interesting.
This time it looks like it might not even be cover two.
It
Maybe
looks like
is
a Tampa
cover
2 because that's 49 doing the Tampa roll down the middle.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. That is two. That is two. I thought
Maybe
it
he
might have
thought
been
he would
six.
open up that way.
And I just like I get that this is DK Metcalf over here, and he's behind DJ Turner, and Rodgers is rolling that way. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's just totally busted.
no,
There's just nobody
Carter
here.
wouldn't open up the other way because if the two receivers are on that side, I'd look at the numbers. He's going to the heavy receiver side, which makes sense. But the way they're all positioned made me think that Carter should go the other way. But no, he went
he
the right way.
opens up to the receiver side.
Yeah.
And then I thought Geno Stone had a chance at a pick here if he finds the ball in the air because he actually undercuts it. Joseph Ossai misses a sack on this play as well that you see there. He gets pretty much inside Rodgers' jersey on the dots. And
my immediate reaction, though, was this gives you a chance to win.
It did. Is that exactly how it went? I guess that is
they
exactly
take the
how
drive
it
down
went.
and they win it because it was so quick. And I had no confidence at that point that the Bengals were going to be able to stop them. I thought they were going to dig and dunk their way down, maybe run the ball the way down and just have their way with the defense because that's what we've seen for the last 30 minutes at least. And instead, that play ends up scoring, and I'm like, oh, that's not the worst case scenario.
Just to go back to this play, you can see Barrett Carter opens up to the receiver side like we were speculating. Here's the actual play. You see Barrett Carter opening up to the receiver side of the field, and he's a pull runner in the Tampa 2, but isn't in really any position here to.
This is one of the we haven't had too many plays. We've warned about it a bunch this year of having average to below average athleticism at safety. This is one of the plays where it really stands out, huh?
Yeah, I think so. That a more athletic safety is probably able to get back into his position, find the ball in the air with a little bit more margin for error. Geno Stone had one of his worst games today, unfortunately.
A couple nice hits
of the season. Yeah, but he also missed a couple tackles.
He did.
The Steelers are tough to tackle, to be fair. Like Jalen Warren, heck of a player. The tight ends that are such a feature of this offense, a little bit difficult to deal with, but the tackling was really bad in this game.
I've got one more defensive observation before we go with the giveaways and stuff like that. The pass rush was non-existent. It was dreadful. I mean, they're getting nothing from the inside. I couldn't take the personnel options where they're putting Cam Sample out there as a nickel at the end. Oh, we rushed 3 on the first touchdown, and they just give Rodgers have like 7 seconds to throw on that play. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. You rush 3. One of them is Cam Sample, who's maybe your worst pass rushing defenseman on the roster. Like, so you're really rushing 2. One of them was a defensive tackle. So now we're rushing 1. I mean, it is bad without Trey Hendrickson. There was a play where Turner getting
to put salt in the wound. One of the closest defenders to the tight end that catches a touchdown is Joseph Ossai. It's Ossai
exactly. He's dropping
back.
Up
in coverage, and like you're asking Joseph Ossai to hold up in coverage now for 8 seconds.
So now you got a worse guy in coverage. You got one less pass rusher. You got Cam's. It was all bad. I can't take it anymore if we're going to drop guys in the coverage like that and not have pass rushers. At least give me the 3 best pass rushers you have at that spot. And then there was a play where Shamar Stewart, he's almost fighting through a double team. He's got Rodgers in the pocket, and then he drops the controller and just runs vertical up the field. Did you remember? Or he actually goes behind Rodgers. Rodgers just breaks contain and runs down the side.
Shamar's a little stiff.
He is a little stiff and unaware of what's going on at times. Murphy, sometimes he's got a great get off. He caused a holding penalty right before that 68-yard or whatever it was. And there's other times where he's not even set yet, and he gets off so late that I'm like, you're not even going to get a chance to rush on this.
It killed me that 2 of the Steeler touchdowns in this game came when they're like way behind the chains. A 3rd and 18, and both of them, it's the same thing. Both of them are cover 2 and 4 verts,
which they don't
and
play a ton of. Like they're
no,
like
they
one of the
really,
lesser in the league for cover 2.
yeah, which probably is part of this. And here's my last point, because a couple people have mentioned this in the chat, and so I wanted to get to this point. Flacco said he didn't understand most of the calls when they came in. That is amusing. If nothing
Yeah.
else, I am very curious to go check this comment out for myself and hear him clarify what this means, because I'm sure it'll come back up. But sure did play well for not understanding most of the calls when they came in.
Yeah, they must just be figuring it out, right? I mean, Jamar said there are times where they're correcting them or letting them know what it means, or just making sure they're on the same page post huddle almost as they're breaking it.
Yeah. Last chance for you to get that hashtag First Star Logistics in. I don't think that there's anything else that we're going to have time to get to here tonight, Joe. The Bengals have an offense again, man. At least there's that. And
Yeah.
at least they came up with a couple takeaways. There's still quite a bit of concern about the defense for me, but really fun to see the run game get going in a game that I thought there was no chance that it was going to get going in.
Agreed.
A couple explosive runs in this game for Chase Brown. And he dropped the ball early in this game. Like, the Bengals could have scored. They ended up scoring on how many straight drives at one point? It was field goal, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. Before, or sorry, I have that backwards. It was touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal from the second quarter into the beginning of the fourth quarter, until they had
4 for 4.
4 for 4 for McPherson. Good call. Until they had a punt late in the fourth quarter after that Cam Hayward sack. That's the only time they got stopped after the first quarter. First quarter, they still picked up first downs on their first 2 drives, which is a step in the right direction, right? They've been setting halves on fire. This time they only set a quarter on fire, and in doing so, at least they picked up a first down, and they picked up that first down on a 3rd and 14, which was probably a pretty good sign that if they can convert a single 3rd and 14, that might mean that they're going to be okay in neutral downs. On the second drive of the game,
throw. I don't know if you saw the end zone view of that. It was beautiful.
Anticipation. Joe Flacco has it. At least he did this week. And I said it might have been the best game we saw from Flacco last week. Certainly not the case. I just was concerned he was going to come crashing back down to earth. But as long as we're riding the Joe Flacco roller coaster, enjoying the Joe Flacco sance, we can enjoy it. The second drive could have been a scoring drive. But, you get 2 bad drops. You get
that's right.
The Andre Yosevich drop, you get the Chase Brown drop. And Yoshi, to his credit, did redeem himself on that deep ball, which is also an awesome throw from Flacco. I think that's an alert.
We're not even getting that Burrow consistently enough. I've made this point over the years that at times Burrow will just take that easy, quick read, check down. And even though he knows that guy's coming down, or maybe he's just too quick to pull the trigger, Flacco kind of was like, I don't want that. What's happening? Oh, it's the safety coming down. Let me climb up and lead this.
Yeah, that is a throw that we celebrate when Joe Burrow makes it, because we're like, oh, hey, Joe Burrow threw the alert post, and Joe Flacco threw the alert post 10 games into being a Cincinnati Bengal.
10 days, yeah.
And he dropped it in the bucket for Andre Yosevich. That was awesome. Shout out to Yoshi for bouncing back on that play.
A lot of redemption stories in this game for a lot of players.
Yeah. DJ Ivey with the Hail Mary pass breakup, getting on the field there. How about that one? Cam Taylor-Britt getting benched. That's crazy. We'll talk about that probably on the midweek show when we get to the major Bengals storylines and look ahead to the Chicago Bears. Is that next week?
I have no idea who the next opponent is. You got me. You got me on the spot. Is it the Jets?
One game at a time. It's the Jets next week. It's the Bears after that.
It's the Jets next week.
It's the Jets next week. The Bengals could get to 500, boys.
Yes,
and
we're
girls,
there.
I guess. I have seen some women actually in the chat. So shout out to everyone who's with us tonight. And let's get to our giveaway winners, because we've got 2.
Yeah. And I saw a question in the chat. Someone who won last week said, how do I get my jersey? Make sure you go look at that video. You can look at any of the videos, but it'll give you an email. The top comment will be pinned. There'll be an email there. You email them, and then they'll get in touch and they'll figure it out from there, from First Star. The Twitter, the X winner from the giveaway. So half the giveaways this week. Laura F at LB Fight. Congratulations, Laura.
Congratulations to Laura. Again, make sure you're checking out the comments on the YouTube videos. We have instructions there for how you can get in touch to claim your prize. Congratulations to Laura, and let's find out who's getting their custom Joe Flacco jersey. I'm assuming that's what you're going to get from the YouTube chat.
If you win this game, I mean, there's a lot of players to choose from. You can get a Jamar Chase if you wanted to after this game. You can get a T. Higgins.
You got
some first 100-yard game for Chase
DJ
Brown.
Turner, James KY70. What player are you going to get? What color
DJ Turner. Go get the
James
Turner
KY70. Congratulations. DJ Turner needs to get extended tomorrow.
He can't yet. He's not eligible yet. End of the third year.
Is he not?
He's not.
Is he not in his fourth year right now?
No, third year. And he ended last year really, really good too. I talked about it in the last year. He is on. He might just be good.
And he has these weird slow starts in training camp where he doesn't win the job, and then he turns out to be good. Like,
what about the camp day where he had like 5 breakups though? Remember that?
I don't.
You have to.
I do remember that. I'm pretty sure on a show I did this week, I made a joke about Joe Flacco keeping it on a read option, and he did keep it on a read option. And Zach Taylor said that he was shocked to see that. So apparently that was Flacco's call. Back when it was Finley, they realized what was happening in that game, and that was a coach's call for Finley to keep it on that one. They're like, yeah, the ends aren't respecting the quarterback at all. Why would you? We're just gonna have Ryan keep it. And Flacco, I think, came to that realization all on his own. At least judging from what I saw quoted for Zach Taylor after the game. Congratulations again to James and Laura for winning the jerseys this week. And I think that's it, Joe. If you're interested in partnering up with First Star Logistics like Joe and I have, where they give us this awesome platform, they give away sweet swag every week. You can check out the website, firststarlogistics.com, for all of the jobs that are available with First Star Logistics, one of the fastest growing companies in the Cincinnati area, one of the best companies to work for in the Cincinnati area. And if you're here early, well, if you're here looking forward to next week early, we've got that wrapped Xbox for you next week. Make sure you're following at First Star Log on X for all the details for the giveaway. Make sure you're back with us for next week's Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. Make sure you're with us for the preview show midweek, where we'll cover all the biggest stories, some of the initial thoughts as we digest the Bengals getting to 3-4, closing the gap in the AFC North. That's coming up later next week. It's Thursday. Next week, around right now. Until then, thanks for listening to this episode of the Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. We'll see you next time.